This is going to be of NASCAR starting parks. I don't like them, but I understand them. And I'm going to tell you a dirty little secret. I have found starting parks, what in my opinion are starting parks in NASCAR dating back to at least 1964. If you go to the website, If you go to the website, www.racing-reference.info.com, and look at some race results from 1964. The Southern 500 comes to mind. Buck Baker won that race driving for Ray Fox. If you look toward the bottom of the standings, you will find the Buck Baker car running very few laps, going out with some overheating, steering, some basically minor reason going out. Also in 1964, you will find the name Curtis Crider, also a driver. Many times he would run the whole race himself, but he would have another car, and I'm talking on the owner's side, that run very few laps, and it would give reason: steering, handling, overheating, reason out of the race. And this is especially true at the bigger races. For instance, the Southern 500 I mentioned paid $500 to start, which I'm sure was a lot of money in 1963. I was born then, but I'd only been 4 years old, so I wouldn't have been old enough to understand it. Now, let's fast forward to 2004, Golden Corral 500 at Atlanta. Race won by Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dave Blaney, driving a second Bill Davis car, trying to get sponsorship to run the full season, run the whole race, finished on the lead lap. I remember the car being on the scoreboard some in the top 10, and finished 11th and got $64,000. On the other end, Joe Ruttman driving for James Finch. If you followed NASCAR this year, you heard that name a bunch, with the Kurt Busch driving for a while. Run 6 laps, went out of the race with a vibration, $54,000. Now, Bill Davis on the Blaney car, I assure you, cost more than $10,000 in tires and wear and tear on the car to run that race, plus getting it there. I'm sure he had to pay an entry fee and all that. So James Finch come out ahead that day of Bill Davis. Now, let's fast forward to 2011. Joe Nemechek comes to mind, the king of starting parks. In 2011, apparently to support his nationwide team, he made all the Cup races with his qualifying reputation for Front Row Joe. Now, he missed some this year, but next year, without the top 35 rule, I believe he'll probably make all the races again if he tries. But he made over $2.7 million, which I'm sure, after expenses to start and park, I think he actually raced both the Daytona races. Rest of the races he started and parked, he made $2.7 million. Now, I don't like start and park, but as somebody who has worked on I've never owned a race car, but I've been involved with some low-budget short-track teams and seen the bottom line. And racing's not cheap. I understand that. I've got good friends that's been in racing and got out because it was too expensive, even with some decent sponsorship in racing on the local level, I should say. But it's just gotten so expensive, even on the lowest divisions. You even see starting parks at your local short track in the bigger races sometimes. You will see some cars that maybe they finish 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th on a weekly basis if they have a full field. In the bigger races, they might only run a couple laps and pull out and take the last place money. A lot of the bigger races pay down to about 10th or 12th, and then maybe the payoff is one amount, so you'll literally get the same money from running 13th as you would from running a couple laps and pulling out, and that's assuming all cars, that there's 13 cars running at the end, which in short tracks, frankly, there isn't always. Now, disclaimer, this has just been my opinion of starting parks. I don't like them, but as somebody that understands a little bit about racing, I understand them.